everyone, Sereno122 from Game Metropolis here to show you a little bit about the Mecromancer character release today. So I'm just going to run through the skills real quick to show you everything that the Mecromancer has to bring to the table that's new and different from all the rest of the other characters that you should all know well by now. First of all, we're going to start off with the Summon Death Trap, which is just obviously like all the other classes, just a starter that you first access when you get to level 5. You get the skill point, you use it, and this is how you get Death Trap. So Death Trap is the robot that she designed, that she made basically to just kill things, because she's, I don't know, cool. So we're going to start off by going through the Best Friends Forever skill tree. So the first skill we have here is Close Enough, which, as you can see, ricochets off, the bullets ricochet off enemies towards, obviously, other enemies. You can see there that the bullet damage is decreased, which should be pretty obvious, but it would help just to get more effectiveness out of each of your shots, because you know there are those situations where you're running low on ammo and you need every bullet counts. So next skill we have is Picking Up Trouble. So while your gun's magazine is full, you regenerate health. So you think, well, my magazine's rarely ever full, but think about when you reload and then you're running around to your next objective, how you're going to be recovering all that health. So that would be a pretty effective skill if you're someone that's concerned with staying healthy and stuff like that. The better half is the next skill. Your magazine is half empty, you gain a fire rate bonus. So something like that when you're in Second Chance or Fight for Your Life, a very helpful probably bonus of the fire rate that really helps. As you can see, the first is 12%, so that probably doubles every time, or adds 12% every time you increase skill points. So you can see that your fire rate when you get to half clip, and if your gun already has a pretty high fire rate, this is going to be insane for some guns. So it really helps. Next is Buck Up. With this ability, as you can see, applies directly to the robot Death Trap. So Death Trap restores the shields of one ally. So if you have teammates that shield are down, it will restore the shields of one of your allies. Pretty self-explanatory. Next we have Fancy Mathematics. Increase shield recharge delay and shield recharge rate based on how low your health is. So the lower your health is, the greater the bonus is, as you can see there. It's kind of like Zero's ability, where when you kill an enemy with a melee attack, you get health back. A lot of similarities. You'll see a lot of similarities with Zero and just elemental effects from things like the Siren and stuff like that. Next, we're going to go to Potent as a Pony. Increases maximum health for you and Death Trap. So Death Trap is a pretty powerful robot, and this will help even more. And I mean, Death Trap is probably one of the better skills, just because of how long it lasts. And so something like this perk will really help if you want to sustain Death Trap as long as possible. Next we have Upshot Robot. While Death Trap is active, if you or Death Trap kill an enemy, it increases Death Trap's duration and grants both of you a stackable melee damage bonus. Bonuses are lost when Death Trap goes away. So this will help your melee. So you can see this is also kind of leaning more towards a melee element character, melee type character. Death Trap, he does mostly melee attacks, unless you apply other skills, which we'll get to later. But Death Trap's duration, help that go up, which would be ridiculous, because it already has a ridiculous duration of how long it lasts. Next, we're going to go to Unstoppable Force. It's a kill skill, so killing an enemy grants you movement speed and causes your shield to regenerate for a short while. So, I mean, not the maybe most helpful perk for some people, but for other people, probably pretty helpful. So, so it doesn't regenerate a ton of your shield, but it overall this effect is very helpful when you get it to its maximum potential. Next we have made of sterner stuff. You and Death Trap gain damage reduction against all damage types. Additionally, Death Trap gains bonus melee damage. So here's another perk, helps a lot with Death Trap's melee damage like before. And here is, and it also helps with all damage types. So another really helpful skill if you're trying to really help Death Trap out. So here's another ability that applies directly to Death Trap, not helping both her and the Mecromancer, but just to Death Trap. So Death Trap causes an explosion in front of him, dealing explosive damage to all nearby enemies. So if you're needing crowd control, here's a pretty good skill to help with that. Next we have 20% cooler, increases the cooldown rate of your action skill. Now this is probably one of the more important perks for Death Trap. Not saying that it's essential for you to get the most out of him, but it is a very, very helpful skill if you're trying to use Death Trap as much as possible. As you can see from the main skill, his cooldown is 60 seconds. So if you can imagine, he lasts probably a very, very long time when you're using him just by himself. So this helps the skill cooldown rate plus 6%, which for something that takes as long to cooldown as it does is pretty significant. So that is, I would highly recommend this skill tree. This is a pretty good skill tree overall. But I mean, obviously it's up to you what you want to pick, but I would really recommend this because of the cooldown rate perk. Last on the Best Friends Forever, we had Sharing's Caring. Grants a copy of your shield to Death Trap. So Death Trap gets your shield, and I mean, if you have a really, really powerful shield, which would be just awesome for Death Trap, and just helping his survivability more. So next we're gonna move on to Little Big Trouble, the next skill tree. So more pep. This increases your chances of applying burn, electrocute, corrode, and flag status effects. So as you can see from just that first perk, this skill tree is going to be a lot more focused on elemental effects of beer guns and Death Trap in general. Next we have grants resistance to shock damage, also increases your shield capacity. So also from this you can tell that not only is it going to be elemental, but very, very oriented on shock. As you can see from most of the pictures, there's a lightning bolt on half of them. But this will really help with it getting shields down on really strong enemies, so that your allies can hurt them with whatever, and also just the slag helping to cause more damage as well. Next we have increased melee damage for you and Death Trap. So another melee perk, as you can see. So a lot of melee aspects to this character, kind of like Zero. Obviously not going to be as strong since that's not the main focus of this character, but still a very important part of it. Death Traps, this is another Death Trap ability, as in applies directly to Death Trap. The Death Trap fires a laser beam and sweeps it across the battlefield, dealing burn damage and possibly igniting enemies. So burn damage, very helpful in most cases, and this would just really help with crowd control when you have a lot of enemies surrounding you. Death Trap sweeping the field with a laser beam would just clear out a lot of them and help, guarantee help out a lot. Shock Storm, so killing an enemy with a critical hit causes an electrical storm, dealing electrocute damage to nearby enemies. Electrical storms are also caused by Death Trap whenever he kills an enemy. So this would be a lot of electrical storms, as in a lot of shields going down, as in a lot of electrocution damage, and just also very helpful perk. So this is kind of a dual perk right here, Electrical Burn. When your electrocute status effects deal damage to enemies, there's a chance they will burn to flames and take burn damage. The amount of burn damage is based on the electrocute damage dealt. So a lot of electricity means a big burn damage in this situation, and so this is a really helpful dual effect, because as soon as you get their shields down, their flesh, you get their shields down, then fire hurts them. So then you kind of have this perfect combination of electric on shields and then the fire on the skin. So then we have the shock AG. So reloading your gun causes an electrical explosion, damage